Sup, guys? It's Corrupted.
And it's Dragon. We
Back
back.
again. So, what'd you
Second.
think of your introduction and then?
It is I feel very similar to Cursed Energy JJK, especially after I got through this 25 episodes. It feels a lot like that in how thought out it is, how well put together it is, how like it's kind of like a trail. I like how like it goes from a start point to an end point. And like the way Gon and Kahlua pretty much kind of handled it was the way us as readers and us as viewers like would want to interpret it too, just kind of watching them as they kind of go through every point, building it up and showing us the basics as the audience. Then just branch off and then just get crazy with it and just start showing all the different applications of it. And that's where it got really interesting because like all the different applications of it, which how between the manipulators, the conjurers, the enhancers, to seeing the first dude we saw using in who Gon went against with the top guy, like just seeing how he amplified and used stuff in it. It's really, really interesting. And it's really well thought out. I like how broad it is and like as far as we've gotten, it still feels like they're still learning more as it goes. They didn't throw like all of it out at once, and it didn't stop. It's always enhancing. Like Nin feels like it's always enhancing. Even when we got to the end of the episodes, when we start seeing how the Zoldycks and everybody who's the advanced version start applying it and using combinations of different ones to do other stuff. And then of course Karapika, like Jesus Christ, Karapika, like that's my favorite character right now. I already know it shouldn't be my favorite character, but right now he's my favorite character, dude. Like just all the applications of Nin being applied in one was just like it's a lot to take in. It's definitely a lot to take in, but I do enjoy how well thought out it is and how well put together it is and how much it keeps like enhancing as we just go forward. But it is definitely one of those ones that you would have to sit and especially someone who doesn't know, you'd have to sit and like really listen to it, like how the openings was using the openings as like ways to just explain the basics over and over again. Like, yeah, if I ain't have nothing like that, I'd be lost.
Yeah, I
But it's
do
way
really
more
like how
well
they
put
explain
together
it.
in Cursing. Like, cause I feel a lot of JJK Cursed Energy vibes in, especially when they went to the like sort of heavily restriction kind of thing with the what Karapika's doing.
Yeah,
Like,
with
yeah,
conditions.
yeah, conditions. That's what they call them.
Yeah. Well, Gege is like a massive Hunter x Hunter fan. Like he's talked about
Warranted.
Hunter x Hunter and Bleach are like his two favorites, or two of his favorites. Like it even like the book that Mahito is reading when he's talking to the dude in the first season is actually a collection of poems about Bleach that Gege wrote when he was a kid. Like that's
That's
how
cool.
into shonen he is. It's like random stuff like that. But yeah, dude, Nin just like as a I don't know if it's the power system itself or just how Tagashi puts like explains it where he's just like there's no loophole in this bullshit anywhere. You know what I mean? Like he makes sure you understand, especially when we get to like the later on chapters when we meet Bisky, like when that stuff happens, when we actually learn the like the like kind of like how Gojo made did with Yuji, like where he like sits in the basement and has to watch movies.
Hmm.
Like there's gonna like learn what some of that me like not it's
And
not the
it's
same
yeah,
thing. It's just like we get to learn like the more interesting application like because
yeah,
we
because
learn the four basic principles.
we still have what I enjoy, especially thus far too. We still have yet they've done Gon and Killua have done all of this, all accomplished so much just in Heaven's Arena, even the post Heaven's Arena into the Phantom Troop stuff with the auctions and stuff. They accomplished all this stuff without really having their specifications down and what they want to specify their nin in. So, and I thought that was like a point, like a real point, because it's almost like I get the same feel, and which is going to be a crazy comparison, but I get the same feel of them like like how they're working to learn their specification. I'm getting the same feel of like Zoro learning to blacken a blade. Like it's anticipating. This gonna come faster, of course, but it's like so anticipating. You know what I'm saying? I know Kilowa's and stuff like from spoilers and stuff that he gets kind of into lightning. But as far as Gon, though, I don't really know much about what Gon does.
So
But
I'm not gonna
I'm
tell you what
interested
they
to
are,
see it.
but I will tell you the Gon one is one of my favorite moments of foreshadowing in anime.
Dude, I enjoy so much of the foreshadowing that's happened, like so much. Like just with Gon's pursuit of Kilo of not Killua, Gon's pursuit of Hisoka in the last first run through that we did, and with him pursuing Hisoka in those woods and stuff, trying to take his tag, it was in those moments that he learned Zetsu.
Yeah, but he just didn't know
Like
what it was called.
he didn't even know what it was, but I remember me myself personally, I remember watching his eyes change in a moment while he was in the forest in the bushes. And I was like, damn, that was a change. I wonder was that significant? And I'd be damn, it was significant. Like he learned Zetsu on his own and then end up applying it in the fights and stuff too. And I definitely understand why Heaven's Arena is one of your favorites because like man, Gon and Killua like really went through that thing like real deal bosses. Like went in that thing beating up everybody until they got to the 200th floor. It's where they had to learn Nin again, and then of course when they learned Nin again and um walked in there and then they started having the fights and of course they had their troubles in the beginning, but man, those boys just they ramped it up.
Also, the
Like
big
they ramped
thing
it up.
is Gon doesn't know how to fight. He just knows how to hunt.
Yep.
So he in the like time, this is where he has to learn to fight. Like he knows how to hit people, but he doesn't know how to throw a punch before Heaven's Arena,
Correctly.
like or doesn't know how to throw a real one. Cause the entire time he's just pushing people at the start of Heaven's Arena until
Yeah.
he gets to the point where he
Just
has
push
to start
forward. Like
punching people.
literally.
He is pushing people.
Literally, Killua told him just push forward, and he took that so simple.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I
simple. It's
took
just I'm
that
gonna push
literally.
forward.
And
Yep.
he just
And he's just pushing everybody out of the way. Literally, the whole matches he have, he's pushing everybody out of the way. And like to see Gon go in there, and I remember us going back talking about how the war of Gon losing his innocence and Killua gaining his. I just can't stop. I can't unsee it. Like everything that Gon goes into, he treats it like it's pretty much an experience. Like the appraiser, which I don't want to talk about right now. I want to lose my thought, but later the appraiser kind of points it out perfect. But Gon in his sense, he's just going forward with the intent to just learn and the intent to just get the experience and whatever comes out of it he'll get something out of it no matter the outcome, and to see that transpired in such a like marvelous way because like it almost doesn't feel like a lot of these situations that goes in, it almost doesn't feel like you don't care if he loses. It's like you just want to see where he goes with it, and that's just I think that's perfectly right where you the author wants you to be. I think that's exactly right where they want you to be. Like just understanding that he's getting everything from every situation he gets, whether he wins or loses, and that's a big thing, really big thing. Because in the same simultaneously, you look at Killua. Killua has too much knowledge for his age, and I think that's where he learns to get his innocence from. Because having so much knowledge, he's always the dude that keeps him in check, always the dude that keeps him on their toes. Because even he knew everything about Heaven's Arena up until the 200 floor, and even he was green.
yeah, I just love all the interactions and stuff that happens in Heaven's Arena. Like when we meet Zushi and if you notice that like every point of the story, what I really like about what Tagashi does is that there's a I wouldn't really call him an everyman that compares to compare Gon and Killua to, but there's somebody that is also exceptional as a human, like an
Yeah,
exceptional human, and then you get to see what an exceptional human looks like compared to Gon and Killua. It just makes you
like
wonder what the fuck are they
because
gonna be like when they grow up.
Master Wing, yeah, Master
Or
Wing said it
Zushi
perfectly. He was like,
with Zushi,
y-
where Zushi's just
yeah,
like every
Master,
moment. Don't say it, or you're gonna make me lose all my confidence.
yeah, you know exactly what moment I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But well, no, I'm talking about the one where when they were walking away, and he tells Zeus, he sees Master Wing sees the distress on Zushi's face, and he just drops out telling like Zushi, you're doing well. You're like one in 100,000th of a talent, but Gon and Kilo are like one in like 10 millionth of a talent of a talent. He's like, is that supposed to make me feel bad? I mean, make me feel good? And he's like, yes, because
Yeah, he's
like
just
you're
like, you don't
still good. You're
understand.
gonna get it. You're gonna get it at your own pace, but you're doing better than most people would right now. And it was a big. It's just like you said. It's like they have a everyman to compare. Like not really just to say that they give Gon and Killua a competition, but it sheds light on just how much of a monster those two kids are.
Yeah, and it's
And
also
like
like,
Gon and Killua was just like they put in the work, yo. Like they ain't afraid to put in that work. Especially in Gon's case, Gon ain't afraid to put in that work. And those
yeah,
dudes in Heaven's Arena went from like they went started off as like OP as hell, got into the big leagues, went from like small fries, people getting treated like that to literally turning into probably damn near running those like running the thing. Damn near running the thing. Like I was in so much amusement in that whole part where the three guys from the beginning finally started trying to make their move when they kidnapped Zushi and oh we're gonna do all this stuff, dude. I understand why Killer was your favorite. I
yeah, dude, I
was
fucking.
very, very
So,
pleased with that display.
so
Like
what's
how he
even
did it,
crazier
like basically hit me.
is that moment where he pulls the knife out, right? In
Yeah.
the original anime, because they made an anime right after the York
Hmm.
News stuff came out in 1999, like
Hmm.
before Greed Island and stuff came out. They just made the first three arcs into an anime, and in that version of the anime, it's closer to the manga, and it's so much more metal because he doesn't pull a knife out on the dude on Zadashi, as I think his name. He
Yeah.
turns his hands into the claw and points them at his neck.
Why would they change it?
Uh, because it looks more or less violent based on the times, I guess. It's like what Kurapika says to the dude is different when he's walking with the actual eyes. Like in the original, he threatens to
Ah.
kill the guy in the 1990 version
Uh,
instead of just put the mafia guy in his place. In the original, he's just like, "Get on my way or I'll kill you." But
yeah,
it's like a
towards the end when he's walking through, when he's
yeah,
got the eyes and he's delivering them,
yeah. But it's like a
that was poetic.
I think it's a better showing of his character in the new way to do it. Like the new way, how he's
Yeah,
just like, "Get out of my way."
because he's trying to change his emotions about it,
Yeah,
which
he's
is
like,
what even because he noticed how because what Melody's done for him, which Melody's an amazing character too. What Melody's done for Karapika is literally like almost show him that bro, you are like you have no control over your emotions when it comes to this. And the situation that you're in right now, you of all people need control over your emotions. So him with the eyes, dude. First of all, him even suggesting to bid on the eyes just absolutely blew my mind. I'm like, bro, what? And you see him like really struggling, walking down those stairs, raising his hand to say a number, and then to have a dude fight him for it, which is even deeper when you really look at it. That's even deeper because now you're not only doing something you don't want to do, but now you have to fight for something you don't want to do, which takes a different level of discipline. And then when he finally gets, you can just see it on his whole face when he walks and gives the eyes up. And Melody, of all people, knows it. He's the only person that told Melody his secret. And dude, I swear, just seeing how like I won't even say defeated, but it was almost like he was on the like the fine line between despair and death, the way he was walking out. And just like how you said, if in the original one, if he told him he threatened to kill him, that would be it'd be a sign that he's regressing back to his old emotion, which is not what you want. So telling him to get out of his way, which being still the stern person that he is, showing you that this is still bothering me, but I'm gonna do not react the same way to it. Not give it as much power, which is a step forward.
yeah.
So
And then
yeah,
there's also the
I can
whole,
see it.
like, he's struggling with like, am I really gonna have to kill everyone? And then the weight that has on his soul after, because it's right after killing Uvo that he does all that, like where he has to
And
carry.
even that.
the like last
Even
remaining
that,
piece of one
like
of his people.
it was crazy because in the Uvo Gene fight, like when he does it, and I ain't gonna lie, man, in the right before that fight, dude, Togashi set that up perfectly. I was under the constraint. It was almost like seeing Madara do what he did to the Shinobi Force, and then have a lone little Guinea soldier come up and say, "Let me get a shot at Madara. I'll take him down." It's like what? Like literally, Togashi gave us probably one of the most epic showings of power I've seen in anime in a while. In Uvojin and all that stuff he was doing, that 1v, all of them taking them waves, and all of them came, then the Big Bang Impact. Loved it. Show us all of that. Then Karapika say, "Oh, I'm gonna go get him." What you finna do? Oh, well, he gonna show you what you finna do. But in that fight, how one of the driving forces for Karapika was him and feeling all that, seeing him feel all this empathy and stuff, and you feel some kind of way. So like him seeing that, and then of course him putting his hands on him, he was like, "All me doing all this, putting hands on you, seeing his blood makes me feel sick. How do you not feel this when you do it?" And it was almost like how you said, like him going with the war of like what it's really like to really kill. Like, is he really gonna do this? He really not gonna do this? It's like what comes with this, what doesn't come with this, because that's been one of the what do you call it, the underlying notions in the show since we've been
Themes.
watching. Like, yeah, themes, underlying themes in the show where it's the idea of to go that next level or to not, and who's really like gonna do it. Because in Kilo's case, he's an assassin. He grew up like that, and even he himself, like somewhat holding back, killing folks is like a strength. And Gon is learning to do the killing, learning to do the hard stuff, and that's what Karapika's doing. Karapika's learning it the hard, fast way because they propel him right into the mafia, right in there with the Zodic family, right with the Phantom Troop. So he learning this shit at a fast pace, a really fast pace.
Also, at the time that he's doing all that stuff, I believe he's only like 17.
Hmm. Yeah, he's
If I,
17.
because he was born in 82, I believe. Is his like, because it has like it sound, yeah, he was born in 82. And so that makes him uh 17 at the time of the York new stuff. So he's like, he might be 18 because I can't remember what time the York new stuff happens, but he's still a fucking teenager by the time he's doing all this stuff, and he's working underground for the mafia. Like,
Yeah,
that's
he
gotta do a
became a
lot to
leader.
your
Like
mental
became like
state too.
he became like a leader of of like the bodyguard security of one of the underground bosses. And like he's having like a whole seat in there. Like when they went and got in that conference to see what they was gonna do about the Phantom Troop, and Zeno and Silva walked in, bruh, I was like, oh, this the big leagues. Like, and then simultaneously, Gon and Killua were looking for Kurapika. Kurapika's with Zeno and Silva. Killua was freaking family. Same time, like y'all going after the same people unknowingly to anything. Like Gon and Q were getting caught and questioned about the chain user, which the whole time is Karapika. I knew, and I knew that Killua knew. Like it was one of them things like Killua knows, but he's masking it. And Gon really just didn't know at all. He just didn't know. And to see that dynamic, because I didn't think Killua actually, because that surprised me when they was running away, when they had got away. And Key was like, "Yeah, we got to go find Crawford because that's who it was." Like, nigga, you knew? I didn't know you knew. And then, but yeah, you expect it, and that type of experience is needed. And you see the difference in the views of like the battlefield too. Like, I like how they all kind of view it differently. Like all four of them, really, even throwing in Leorio, he even views the battlefield differently than Gon does, different than Killua does, and obviously now different than Karapika does. And really paying attention to that dynamic is like hella interesting, yo. Like how differently they act during the battlefield. It all goes back to the hunter exam. Like I can always pull back everything we're doing to the hunter exam, the original hunter exam with all the stuff he's doing, and that's how you know that was a great pilot arc, absolute great pilot arc.
Yeah, and then all the like little things that we learn about just not even Gon, since this is Gon's first time learning how to fight for real, outside of like the little instances with animals and stuff that we learned that he
Hmm.
did when he was a kid. But like we see like Killua, how he's just like how he understands fighting on an almost instinctual level, like when he's fighting Zushi in the
Hmm.
Heavens Arena,
Hmm.
and Zushi just
Yep.
takes a simple horse stance, and he's just like, man, he's mastered that stance. Like he's shocked that someone Zushi's age is that good in that stance, and he's just like, man, that leaves almost no openings for a normal person. Like how he's
Yeah,
just
for
like,
somebody that's not me.
yeah, somebody that's last name's not Zoldyck, motherfucker. And then he has that little thing with Zushi, and then Zushi does that. We know what it's called now, but
Ooh,
at the time, you have no clue what it's called. And then Killer was just like scared to death of it because it feels like his old brother. And then you learn like what that actually means over time, or like the fact that somehow Mr. Wing's able to yell loud enough to literally knock people out of their seats in the stands.
I said that. I pointed
Like,
that out.
like just a
I was
normal
like, "But
fucking
Wing, you
person does
strong.
that. Like just a
Like
normal fucking
Wing,
person.
you low key strong, Wing."
And also like a random throwaway tidbit is that over 1 billion people come to Heaven's Arena to watch people fight. And that should just tell you like how much people in this world like watching people fight. Like in a year, 1 billion people show up to Heaven's Arena to
Dude,
spectate.
I just if you needed that, dude, I knew that just off the money them dudes spending. I'm like, oh yeah,
But
y'all
I
spending
think
that bread
Genie's
up in
like
here.
based off of yen just because of how fast they spend it during the auction.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that with how the big numbers went to it, like the really really big numbers
Yeah, like
was when
something
they
tells
was
me.
when it was getting synonymous with a lot of money when they got to the big number. Like they were casually throwing around 8 billion zenny or whatever it is. Like it was a hard number to get, but just still. When
Well,
they was
or
talking about just how much money they were getting, like this is 300,000, that's 400,000, that which we know a billion is a big number, but at the same time, like these are big numbers y'all also throwing around.
or
So I
like
figured it was
what's it
like
called?
yen.
Miluki was gonna get like what was it like 8 billion, like borrow 8 billion in exchange for 15 contracts. So I think it was he offers his dad to do 15 contracts in exchange for I want to say 8 billion if I remember correctly. So that
Yeah,
means
yeah, 15 contracts. Yeah,
that's a that's a lot of money per kill. And so if we can assume how much the thing on the head of Crollo was, since we got to see what makes Zeno and Silva show up, have to be a couple billion at least. And they even said that it's not
at
worth the
least.
amount of money it cost. Like Zeno's just like, we're not getting paid enough for this shit. Which I love when the old person always says something like that in something. It's always hilarious, in my opinion. So that means it's gotta at least be like the real life equivalent to in the millions, I would assume. Like I would
Yeah,
assume that 8.9 is probably about 8 million in real dollars, because that's like the only money that makes sense to me. Because being in the hundred thousands, just I don't see it being in the hundred thousands. Like I just don't see it being in the hundred thousands. Maybe like 800,000, but I feel like I feel like it's got to be the same conversion rate as yen and be like 8 million for a copy of Greed Island. It's because that's how much I would imagine a video game that only 8 exists in real life that no one's ever beaten before. Like if someone could pull that off, like that you can't pirate or anything, because we see Maluki try to pilot it, pirate it.
and it
Like
wouldn't
you,
work.
yeah. So you gotta you, especially if like there's some magic power that only a tenth of the world's population understands to play the game in the first place. Like the
Literally,
implication that they said like it's a game for hunters. So, and then it's a game that you're only supposed to play if you're a hunter. And we see pawning a hunter's license is worth what was it? Like 100 million, Jenny? Just pawning it?
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So It's gotta be 8 million actual dollars. Honestly, especially like later on when you see like some of the Jenny numbers later on, it just implies that it's exactly like yen, where it's roughly divided by 100, and that's what the USD is roughly. That's another thing I like about this. In most things, they're not consistent with the economy because the economy is just like you know what I mean?
Nah, it's a sub factor of most
Yeah,
shows.
like a good
And like
example
they like
would
push
be
it
like
front. Like
what random stuff costs in One Piece. Like the bounties are consistent, but what random stuff costs in One Piece. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's kind of inconsistent, but in I guess it's just because it's such a big part of the actual story Ginny is, thanks to Heaven's Arena, York New, and then Great Island next. Like money actually matters to the core central story. I think that's why it works that way. Like why it's not that crazy. Like the entire reason they go to Heaven's Gate is because they make money
they
and
need
Gon can
money.
train. So I just like how it's consistent like that across the board. And also, what's it called? The There's like a little thing that's funny to me talking about Wing and stuff like that. If you remember, he's a member of the Shinryu Karate. I forgot what it's
Hmm.
actually, but the implication is that the guy that trains Kurapika is also a member of that organization because
I
the
messed up.
the divination that they do is that school's way of seeing what your nin type is, and Kurapika finds out his nin type from doing the same ritual. What I don't really know if you call it a ritual, but from doing the same thing, that's how he learns
Same
he's a
type of
conjurer.
training.
Yeah, so it implies that it's from Shinryu something. I can't remember the whole name, but I also love that it's Chairman Netaro's school of karate. I just
Hmm.
I really like that. That's his school of karate, especially later on. It's dope. Like it feels almost Fight Clubby. The Ryushin. Damn it, I can't remember how to say the whole name, and now it's gonna bother me all day. Now that I can't remember karate school. Da-da-da. Shingen Ryu. That's it. I couldn't remember what it was, but it's called Shingen Ryu. I couldn't remember how to say it. Shingen Ryu, which apparently translates to, depending on the translation, is style that originates from the heart. Huh. I didn't know that part. That's cool. Nice to know. And then what's it called? Wing is actually pretty high up in it. I didn't realize he was that high up in it. He is a he's like like how like the equivalent to what Wing is would be like a you know how like there's the head of a martial arts organization, and then there's like one that branches off that learn from them and then open their own school. So they'd be
Yeah,
like the equivalent of like a fifth or sixth degree black belt.
yeah.
That's what Wing is. I didn't realize he was that high up. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize. Just because I found a chart that broke it down real quick. And also, I like how Killua. If you notice the other thing in the, my brain's a little scatterbrained today, but when he's in Heaven's Arena, the technique that he uses is the one Hanzo uses to beat Gon.
Hmm. The chop.
Yeah, he just uses the same chop where he hits him on the back of the neck to give him a concussion and knock him out.
Kilo Both Killua and Gon both have the child's curiosity and the child's emulation. Both of them like are curious as fuck, and both of them try to emulate anything that they see that's super useful. And Killua does it more subtly than Gon does, just like how you said. You have to realize that that chop that he did was the same one he used on Gon, because he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't like shy away from his. What I'm trying to say, he doesn't shy away from his sources of knowledge. He'll learn from any situation, no matter what happened in it, no matter what how it occurred and all that, because that chop was really what was helping him. But he did the exact same one in the exact same spot every time. So yeah, he used it because he knew it was a one hit a quitter technique. And then of course till he got to Zushi and realized he ain't going down like that. And that was another thing too, because they have like Togashi took everything that they started with, every little everything that worked, everything that they were doing in the beginning, challenged it so they could change it. Like openly challenged it so they could change it. So the chop, he picked up the chop in the Hunter exam. Hunter exam where they was went against Hanzo and of course a bunch of other strong fighters who challenged their skill and prowess. So of course he finds the chop from Hanzo. Hanzo being one of the first like hard hitters outside of Hisoka that we saw, and emulated that because that's the same kind of fighting style he wanted to do. Then emulates it in Heaven's Arena. It works for majority of the time on those early floors. Then of course when he gets to the top floors, he has to abandon all of that and learn a new style of fighting because the style of fighting they had been doing previously with what they were about to get into would be inadequate. So yeah, I do enjoy those open levels of like them seeing stuff, trying stuff, doing stuff, and then openly changing it when it no longer fits their needs or no longer serves them the way they want it to. That's a good niche, the evolution niche.
Also, like how the entire reason they decide to learn Nin isn't the same people as like reason as like Kurapika, where Kurapika learns it just to get a job. They're just like, wait, that reminds me of your brother. Maybe we should go ask them what this is to see if they know anything about my brother's power. Maybe then I can understand how to counter it in the future since I don't like my brother's power. Because my brother's power can make me do stuff I don't want to do. And so, and then I love the line that, because I watched I'm watching the Japanese version, because normally I watch the dubbed version. So I just never
Hmm.
watched through the sub version all the way. Because the original, like I like watching it the way that I watched it the first time. But I just want to see if there's like any major differences with like what they're saying. And I like what Mr. Wing drops on them when they're asking if they can learn about Nin. And in the Japanese version, they say, Wing's just like, there's an old proverb that warns, a smattering of knowledge may leave one wallowing in greater arrogance. Like, what a fucking bar, dude. In the Japanese version. That shit is crazy. I love that line. But it makes sense. It's sort of like he's literally just warning about the Dunning-Kruger effect. He's just like, if you learn some and you think you understand it all, you're just gonna end up screwing yourself over later. Because we learn, not even a whole episode later, that if you just mess around with Nin without taking it seriously, you'll accidentally kill yourself.
Yep.
Which is another thing that I really like about Nin is that it has stakes that aren't just,
Drawbacks.
yeah, it has every amount of power that you get from it, you have to give that amount of power back. You have to give something back for that amount of power. Like if you make a condition, when we learn about conditions, you have to give a condition that's drastic as fuck to achieve a equal drastic increase in power. Like we learned that Killua decides that his condition to be for using chain gel is that if he uses it on anybody that's not a spider, he just fucking dies. Or
Like immediately, yeah. He
yeah,
just rolls over.
because he has the little finger arbiter of, I think it's just arbiter, little finger arbiter is one of the daggers is wrapped around his heart at all times. That way he can't use chain gel as long as he has chain gel in his arsenal. And then he's got the thing with Littlefinger, the contract is he can't even use that, like, he can't manipulate it or anything unless he has the Scarlet Eyes active. It's also a cool little tidbit where it turns out, like, the Kurta can turn their eyes at will instead of just when they feel threatened or, like, worried or
Yeah,
anxious
he
and
finds
stuff
out
like
how to
that.
do it later.
Yeah, and it all
He
ties
tells
into.
Ronan that he can do it.
So it implies that his lineage is very, like, steeped in ninjutsu, because even Uvo's just like, I remember the red-eyed guys, they were really strong, and that doesn't seem like something Uvo would just splurt out or blurt out.
Also,
Like,
like side note, I also like that Uvo's sub dub actor is the same dude that dubbed Frankie.
I I haven't listened to Uvo's dub voice in forever, so I can't.
Uvo was the first dude I actually liked like enough to like pay enough attention to. So like I heard it like so many times in different like up and downs. I'm like, dude, you sound like somebody I know. And then when he dropped his voice in the low and said it, like Frankie.
I can see it. I just haven't heard it in forever. But yeah, I can definitely see it. That being the case, because Frankie showed up around the time this was going on. Because Marineford happens in what, like 12? So yeah, Frankie would have been around. So the voice actor for Frankie would have been around in, like, the stuff in this era. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense for you. It's like what's the name? Hisoka's voice actor is the annoying guy in every Skyrim, like every Skyrim town. I don't know if you know, like, I know that one off the back of my hand because I think it's funny. You know the dude that works for the Jarl in, I want to say, Morthal. It's one of the Thanes in one of the cities that has like a sinister voice that sounds like high and mighty. That's Hisoka's voice actor, and it just cracks me up
Hmm.
that that's what I know Hisoka from, like Hisoka's voice actor. So every time I run into him, whenever I play a playthrough of Skyrim, I just immediately kill him and say that's for my boys, and go on and kill him every time I do the quest, just so I can kill every person that's voiced by that dude. Cause, like, fuck you, Hisoka. Also, the first Hisoka fight in Heaven's Arena, bruh. When we get that little, I don't want to say
The
exposition
guy that
dump
can do shadow
because
clone.
it worked like an exposition dump, but it doesn't feel like an exposition dump. Because instead of just being like, this is how all this stuff works, they're just like, they explain it as it's happening. So it's like they show us how it works instead of just telling us how it works. And then we also learn, like, why it's important to just stick to your, like, your natural capable side of nin mastery. Like, if you're an enhancer, you should just stay an enhancer, because the drawbacks that you have is the fact that you'll never be able to do the other stuff like that. Because we learn the dude with the tiger claw fist, whose name I can't even remember now because I forgot. Because not hearing his name in English, hearing him say, like, a sentence with his name in Japanese, like, threw me off, and now I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But that whole interaction, I just love it so much. With where we learn that he had the friggin', what's it called? Ah, crap! I can't even remember the name of the friggin' crap. Now I'm not gonna be able to. Castro, that's his name, Castro.
Astro.
But like, the little things about it that, like, Togashi planned out, like, he uses the cape to make it hard for people to notice that it's a clone, or the fact that he uses the enhancer abilities like Tiger Claw Fist to hide the fact that the clone is the one swinging. So it's like, it feels like his nin already, and that when the clone comes at you, so you don't realize that it's actually a clone, like he's hiding the use of it being an extra thing of nin behind the fact that there's already a thing of nin, so somebody that's not using in wouldn't notice it, which I thought was really cool. And in in's like a completely different. It's interesting in as a concept. It's combining like two of the previous things together to get a new discipline of it, which is really cool part
Hmm.
of Nin also. But it's just like all these other things come together, and you just learn he wasted all of his time mastering a conjuration technique and a manipulator technique, when if he would have just got really fucking good at Tiger Claw Fist, he would have been so much stronger. I just love how that works out. Also, I love the that Nin just means like flame, and in the context that it's used, it means to burn your soul, because it's just the power of your soul given manifest, or the power of your life in manifested form. And it's just like, what's the best way to say it? It's basically you burn your life at one end to get power, and that's kinda a theme in the story overall. Like if you look at like Kurapika,
No, that's a
like,
100% a thing.
cause he say it like he's sacrificing an aspect of his life to gain more power, and we'll see other stuff that does it too. I'm just trying to be careful with my words because I don't want to say something that's accidentally a spoiler. So,
No, I completely understand.
so that's why I'm like being like slow and methodical with everything I say, just because I feel like this is too good of a story to have it spoiled when you're watching through it. Like, what's another good example? Um, I wouldn't say Uvogin's power, but a good example would probably be Crollo. Um, how Crollo uses his power.
Solo's a
It's
specialist, yeah.
yeah, how he has to sacrifice to be able to have that much power. He has to sacrifice the condition of he has to be holding the book open to be able to
Hmm.
like to have that much power where you can steal somebody else's power. He has to have a drastic downside, which is part of him has to be unable to fight for the most part because he just has to hold a book open and stare at it.
You gotta
And
imagine some of those nin abilities that he's taken would be even more uh, useful if he could use two hands to use them.
yeah, especially like what's a good example of one
Yeah, even the
like
cape that he first opened it with, that cape that he was using with, I can imagine him being able because he had one hand on the cape and one hand on the book. Especially with the way Zeno was fighting him, you can see it. Zeno he has to like not only switch switch his like to deflect the attack to stay on his strong side and switch it. But if he was to go to his weak side, he would have to direct his whole body in the opposite direction to block an attack from the opposite side. So I can imagine just being able to do that, you be having to move to get into position to deflect the attack, then having to turn around and if you was to go to the other side, completely 180, do it again while keeping this book in hand. When if you didn't have the book, you could just switch hands and just constantly hold the cape with one, like just switch hands, idly. Always keep a hand on,
yeah,
take it off, keep a hand, take it off. Like he would handle it a lot more efficiently if he had two hands versus the one.
or the fact like we see the ones that he used is he only used conjuration ones because the three that we see him use in that he summons the fish inside to beat the one assassin, the like one serial killer assassin guy, and then he uses the owl's technique, which is a conjuration ability, and then we see him use the neon's ability to see the future, which uses a conjured nin beast. So we see how he
Hmm.
does it is he uses a conjured thing, or those times that we've seen it. So it just makes you wonder what way, like, I want to see him use like enhancer abilities and stuff like that. I want to see that stuff animated. Also, if you think about it, he also gets the same condition as Kurapika too, to a degree. Well, it's not the exact same, but it's a super similar condition. Because Kurapika's just like, now if you want to ever use your full power again, you immediately die after Kurapika gets a hold of him.
Hmm.
Just cause.
That's true. I ain't think about that. That's true.
So that's another aspect of it. Because he could probably, if he could open his book, because the whole reason that he can't use his book when he fight, well, he doesn't even get to fight Kurapika, because Chain Jail is so OP, but it's only OP to 12 people, so it's like,
Or
is it
any person
really
that
that OP?
takes up that mantle.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't work on Hisoka because Hisoka's not actually a member. He's just pretending to be a member, like stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
he's not
cool with
actually
all the stuff.
convicted.
And
He's
then
not
there's
actually
the
mentally convicted as a member.
yeah, and then he like the other stuff with the Phantom Troop, like their metaphors and stuff with like Crollo, his last name being Lou Silver, like clearly a play on the word Lucifer. Like he's clearly, and he's also the thing that guides the other members of the troop. He's like the quote unquote head of the spider, is what he's called, like his nickname or boss.
Hmm.
And Lucifer's surname, like that fallen angel, is known as the Morning Star, which is the star that guides you. Like it's a guide, because like the idea literarily is like he's the like how people use it in a lot of Western works is like he's the star that guides you towards hell. Like he convinces you to do stuff that leads you down the path to hell. And it's kind of interesting because he comes from Meteor City, which is basically, I don't want to say the closest thing to hell on Earth, but it's just a fucking trash heap where a bunch of people live. That's part of the underground secret drug smuggling ring. And that's like where the mafia gets a lot of their weapons and a lot of their recruits that they just add into their ranks. So they kind of come from hell, if you think about it that way. His last name is Lucifer. He wears an upside down cross on his back. One of his companions, Shizuku, she wears an upside down cross on her necklace. In the Japanese version,
Hmm.
Killua even points it out to himself. He's just like, it's weird that she wears upside down St. Peter's cross. So, and then another interesting fact is the book, or not the book, but they're not really cell phones, but the like communicators that Illumi and Silver are holding. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. It's super weird because it looks like super fucking weird. It looks like a. Let's see if I can find it. It looks like a Star of David for some reason. See if I can find it real quick because it doesn't really like let you take pictures of stuff on Crunchyroll. So I'm gonna see if it'll show it through this thing, through the broadcast, because I couldn't really screenshot it well when I was watching it, because they like won't let you capture it on a phone or anything. See if I can see it real quick, just because I can't slow it down really.
You good?
I'm gonna try to throw it up on the thing real quick. Let me see if I can. I didn't think about pointing it out earlier. I would have prepared
Save it.
properly. Also, the moment where it shows the Tentons being dead is crazy. Like it shows the fly land on the dude's face, like on his eye.
Yeah, I thought
Like
that
that
was
was
so
cold.
extra. I thought
Yeah,
that was so extra. I was like, why y'all do that, man? We already know they dead.
yeah, dude, it's
Dude,
so
Suzuku's
dope.
power is retarded. The
Yeah, okay, cool, I got
girl
it. The what? Oh yeah, where he can like
Suzuku,
manipulate stuff.
no, Suzuku, the girl with
Uh,
the vacuum
Shizu. Oh
cleaner,
yeah, the vacuum dude. That is creepy.
is so creepy, and she talks to it
Well, it's like a
and
living
tells it what to
thing.
do. That's why it's weird.
Yeah, here, I got it. Like it's wholesale ass a Star of David.
Hold up. Yeah, I see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
on
it's
that. Yeah,
full cell. Like I don't know what Tagashi's trying to say here. Um, I don't know what he's trying to say there, but um, It is interesting that they have a Star of David. I don't know if it means anything in Japan though. It might have like a special meaning in Japan. Oh, okay. Okay, it is actually means something special in Japanese. That's cool. It's a Hindu symbol, and it stands for Shiva, Pushura, Shakti, and Prakriti, and it's the
It's like Latin.
basically, huh?
So that sounds a little Latinish.
It's Hindi, and the their union gives birth to Kurama. So it basically that is a symbol of the divine union of masculine and feminine as a source for all of creation. It's supposed to
Yeah,
represent
I know that
Prushra,
concept.
the supreme being, and Prakriti, Mother Nature. But it also
Prakriti,
represents Shiva, and Shiva is
destruction.
the goddess of destruction in what's called. So it makes total sense for it. Also, Shiva's literally means the auspicious one, so it works. It actually makes a ton of sense for assassins to have a thing that's literally just it literally translates to the auspicious one. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, the auspicious one just the yeah, it's just like that's interesting. I didn't sorry, a bunch of stuff that I didn't expect popping up. Like some interesting stuff popped up that I didn't expect. Also, I wonder if it has anything to do with Silva being very close to Shiva. Like it could be an anagram of Shiva if you or not the thing where if you wrote it in a certain way. No, that's still an anagram. And two. So yeah, that could be part of it. Just because if you could make an anagram with Shiva and Silva. So that's interesting. I didn't know that aspect of it. But yeah, it's just funny that it just randomly has a. It's not actually called a Star of David. It has its own name called a Shot Kona, not a Star of David. But it's just interesting, like what that means on an assassin, that it just has the symbol for Shiva on it, which is kind of crazy. Which it's just like the little things in shows in general that you notice that makes them that much better. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Then
The
there's
added
the
little secret innuendos and stuff. I mean, it's kind of what we do.
also when Killua knocks the shit out of Zushi in the thing was hilarious when he messes up and accidentally hits Zushi with his full power with that crazy uppercut because he gets mad.
I don't think it was accidental.
Well, like he didn't mean to hit Zushi that hard, but the punch wasn't
He didn't mean to go
accidental.
that far.
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't mean to go that far, but yeah, the punch was an accident.
yeah. And then Zushi just gets up, just like, "Yo, dog, I didn't hear no bell." But it's just like
He
Killua
did though.
already was. Yeah, there was a bell. Like it hit him so hard that he doesn't even notice it. And it just goes to show like how OP Nin is when there's not like it's just a kid that barely understands it, that can barely do it, but he's able to use Nin to keep from falling to an infinitely superior opponent. Also, like how Zushi just calls Wing out immediately. He's like, "Why you lying about what that means, boss? Like, we know for a fact that's not what that means. You're lying about what that says. Like, what the hell, dog?" And he's just like, "Because if I told them the truth and they used it without coming to me, or an actual like master, they'll kill themselves." Because he shows off how OP it is, and he just turns a piece of
Hmm.
paper into a sword blade and throws it at some juice. And I love how Zushi's just like, "I didn't get to read that book yet, and that was my juice." That always cracks me up, especially because it shows like a grape juice right next to it, and so you know Wing threw it at the orange one on purpose, or he had to throw it at the orange one on purpose. And then I love the whole Hisoka's hazing. I guess is the best way to describe what happens when they finally make it to the 200th floor. Like
Yeah, that's pretty
I don't
much,
know a
yeah.
better way to describe it, just because in my opinion, that's exactly what Hisoka does is hazes them. But that's when we get the full like this is what Nin is explanation. And also, I like the how between arcs Hisoka changed from the white shirt to the black shirt since he
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if this was Tagashi's intention, but what it says to me is like it's the white shirt was his hunting shirt, if that makes sense. Like, I guess hunting's not the
Hmm.
right word, but it's like his pure shirt. It's his unassuming shirt. Like, cause like white is like a symbol of purity and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like before we knew who he actually is. Like we know he's a hard ass that'll hurt people, but it's like his unassuming shirt because he's dressed sort of like a clown. He has his face painted white. Well, actually, it's not painted. He's just that pale. We learn in the Heaven's Arena arc he's just actually that pale. But he looks sort of like a clown, like to a degree. Like he's called the magician and everything because of his fighting style. So it's like more pure. And then here in Heaven's Arena, he has a black outfit because we know that he's legitimately. Would we call him evil? He's definitely a bad guy, but yeah, I guess we could. It's not the normal version of evil that you see, like, you know what I mean? Like in Western society, when we think evil, we think like he's devil worshiper and stuff like that. But here, Hisoka is just like a stock standard
He's
psychopath.
no, he's in it for his own reasons. There's a word
Yeah,
for it. I can't think of it. There's a
narcissistic.
word
Like he's
for it.
narcissistic as fuck. I wonder if that's the word you're looking for.
It's not
Uh,
narcissistic. It's what they use to describe. We've previously described Deadpool as one. You described Stain as one in My Hero. They don't play either side. They play their own side. And if your side just so happens to fall victim or benefit from it, it's no harm or foul to them.
well,
I
I
can't
don't.
remember what
Are
it's
you thinking of
called. It's in a
Antihero?
story. No, it's not anti-hero.
Uh,
It's not anti-hero. It's another different kind of word.
cause
Well, technically, Deadpool is an anti-hero,
yeah,
and
he's
it
an
kind of
antihero.
falls in that line.
But like at least
But
those
like,
two have a like Stain becomes a bad guy because he wants to force heroes that are only in it from the money to stop being heroes.
yeah,
And
he
Deadpool's in
wants the
it.
real heroes to come forth.
Yeah. Like they have it's weird to say Deadpool has morals, but Deadpool kind of has morals. You know what I
He
mean?
has a
But Hisoka
code.
is just like, you badass fighter, I want to kill you. I want to break you because it turns me on. Like that's Hisoka's like whole thing. So I guess he'd be a sociopath.
Yeah, you must start getting into his reasons, like his reasons behind what's going on, like the broader sense of what he's actually doing, like how he wanting to fight Crollo and teaming up with Croc, teaming up with Croc Kurapika simply because he wants to fight Crollo, and Kurapika also trying to take out the Phantom Troop. It's like, yeah, but he's also a part of the Phantom Troop. He would also sit here and watch them like beat the shit out of Kurapika and all that shit if he has to, because he has his own morals and own goals.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he would fall under, cause he seems like he seems more than a sociopath, but not quite a psychopath because he has like certain what's the like because as a sociopath he'd have almost or as a psychopath he'd have almost no conscience and typical feelings, but he clearly has certain feelings, you know what I mean? Like they're almost exclusively like antisocial feeling like emotions, but he has some emotions. So I want to say that he's a sociopath, but at the very least, he's has an antisocial personality disorder, like 100%. He's an antisocial personality. There's like a good way for antisocial personality disorder. Here's like the things that they typically have: failure to conform to basic social norms, also in a way that violates the law. Dude gets off by killing people, or not necessarily killing people, but breaking people.
Check,
Repeated violation of the physical or emotional rights of others. See the first one.
check,
Lack of stability in job and home life may go through long periods of unemployment, for example, even in localities or situations where jobs are readily available. He up and noped out of 3 of his fights in Heaven's Arena just because there was nobody that interested him. I think that checks out too.
check.
Uh, 4.
Yeah, yeah,
Irritability
yeah,
and
check.
aggression. May get into frequent fights. That's his whole personality. Number 5.
Usually would have to quell his whole bloodlust.
Yeah. Just because he saw Kurapika and Leorio had a bunch of potential, so he has to. Or like with Gon. Like, he had to kill Greta after Gon took it because Gon taking his tag from him excited him so much that as soon as he saw Greta that he just had to kill him. Like in the first part. And the lack of remorse after harming someone or their property. Wholesale mock somebody while killing them by killing them in a way that makes them look funny, like what he does to Castro, where he's like, "You're gonna die in a frenzied dance," and then hits him with the cards to make him dance while he dies. So definitely lack of remorse, consistent irresponsibility. Yeah.
I can say that.
Well, what responsibility does it actually show us? You know what I mean? And then there's recklessness and impulsivity. He legit calls Illumi to just be like, "Yo, I need you to pretend to be me for a little bit," on an impulse, just so he can fight the dude. And then deceitfulness. His entire character is just about lying to people so he can fight them.
Trickery,
Except for,
trickery, all of that.
I don't think he has lied to Gon or Killua, but he also
Yeah,
wants
but
them
he's
to grow
deceived
up.
him. He has deceived him.
That's
He
true. He
has
has
like
deceived
deceived
them.
him on minor levels. So the
Yeah,
trickery and all that falls into
yeah.
the same umbrella.
And this all comes from the DSMV5, so the newest model of the or newest iteration of the DSM. And then they also tend to have a superiority complex, so or a behavior that suggests a person believes they're somehow superior to others. People with this
Check.
complex often has exaggerated opinions of themselves. They may believe their ability and achievements surpass those of others. However, a superiority complex may actually be hiding low self-esteem or a sense of inferiority. Um, I don't think it's hiding low
Check.
self-esteem or a sense of inferiority. I think he's just out of his fucking mind. He's also he also is Machiavellian, which is Machiavellian is I'll get the it's a it's part of the dark triad of personality disorders. The dark triad is narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. It's a model used to help diagnose people with antisocial personality disorders. And Machiavellianism is the personality trait construct characterized by manipulative indifference to morality, lack of empathy, and calculated focus on self-interest. That is like Hisoka to a fucking T. That's why I don't know if like psychopathy is the right thing to label him as, or just an extreme Machiavellian, Machiavellian, I guess would be the right word. But like, cause that's everything that he does is just a calculated focus on his own self-interest of getting off by fighting someone talented. Like that's his entire. Like we'll see more in Greed Island with some of the stuff, like how far certain characters will go to do stuff like that. That I don't think going psychopathy is the right or the only right thing. But I think Machiavellian is the best way to like put him. Is the best place to put it. So especially when we see his fight with Gon, which I freaking love that fight so much.
Dude, that
Like the
punch was so
animation.
satisfying.
Yeah. Dude, I love the animation where he hits Gon so hard and it looks like an actual boxing match for a couple of seconds in slow mo, like something
Oh
from like
no, dude, that
Creed, where
choreography was top tier.
he
Like
gets smacked in the
how they
face and
both
then you
came
just see
out,
the sweat
dude.
floating where it got knocked off Gon's
Out.
face.
How they both came out and was like swatting at each other and pretty much going at it Naruto-esque, kind of da 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 pew, 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 da 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 pew, and it felt like some Dragon Ball in there too. Dude, I was on my toes, dude. I was so happy seeing that. And then, dude, a lot of those punches, just like you said, it was almost looked like a whole boxing match at one. And then Gon was getting hit, and he kept getting knocked down and getting back up. And then when he learned it and started and turned on the jets and stuff, and I'm like, okay, dude, you actually doing something. You doing it. Then Hisoka turned the jets on. I was like, oh my God. Then the table flip Gon did. But dude, the table flip punch in between using Zets in the middle of all that and then hitting him, dude, I absolutely enjoyed that. That was what you call like telegraph real good growth right there, showing, oh, I don't want to take you seriously. You can punch me in the face. Well, you did it. You did it.
Yeah, and then the that when he bungee gums him to punch Gon in the face for the win, like that shit's crazy. And I love or the fact when he pops out of it and he freaking punches Hisoka and they take that second for him to give him back the tag.
Oh yeah.
Cause that that punch that he landed on him, he sent him sliding backwards. Like he goes like a couple of meters backwards.
Like yeah, a
Because
couple
he's like
meters. You're
several
not wrong.
squares away, and the squares are probably like a couple meters because they're over twice as tall as Gon. So he slides backwards like a meter. Like
That's
Gon
twice as
caught him
tall as
good.
Hisoka.
Like that shit caught him good. Or like when he lets Gon unleash on him because Gon caught him, and he's just like, it's so weird. Like that moment. Like if you take aside the fact that Hisoka makes it super weird, like where he's like getting turned on by it, like where Gon just unloads on him and he's just like, I can't wait to see what you grow up to be, sort of thing, you know? Like if you leave
Mm,
out that weird part, it reminds me
nah,
that
can't
part
leave
of the
out the
fight,
weird part.
huh?
That dude went crazy weird.
Yeah,
He went crazy weird. But it has some nuance to it. Like yes,
yeah,
you're
but
right. Like he's growing him in order him to get as strong
yeah,
as he can.
no,
He's
but what
learning
I'm
a lot
saying,
of
it reminds me of like when you're when you like play a game with like a little cousin or a little sibling and
yeah,
you want them to get good at the game so you can have more fun playing the game with them later. So there's certain
yeah. I
moments
see that.
where you see they got they got better. So to reward them for getting better, because you notice they got better in that one instance of you playing the game, that you let them get a point on you,
I understand.
because you know what I mean. Like you playing basketball with the little
Yeah,
sibling, and like you could have stopped the shot, but you noticed like their footwork got a lot better because they figured something out. So you just let them get the point. That way their confidence is up, and they understand like
exactly.
how much they've improved in this little period. That's what that moment of that fight reminds me of. Cause like he's just like, oh, gone. You've improved so much since you learned in that I'll let you get these licks in real quick, just so you see how much better you are before you got here. But then, as soon as that's over, I'm dunking on your ass. Like that's how I felt. Like that part of the fight. Like when you take out the weird, like Hisoka being the weird sexual deviant that just wants to break people, and then he catches him with that upper, or it's not even an upper. The show calls it a straight right. I'm sorry, that's not a straight right.
No, I wasn't sure, right. I know
I
exactly what
know
you're
my
talking about.
terms. That's not a straight right. That was an overhand. Okay, motherfucking lady. That wasn't a straight right. But like when he catches him with the second one to win the fight, and then he's just like, I'm never fighting you here again. But next time we fight, we're gonna fight with no rules to hold us back, and our lives will be on the line. Like that shit was so. Like I don't like giving Hisoka
Chilling.
props, but that just because
It was
Hisoka weirds
chilling.
me out. But that was a good line. That was a good line. Like, hey, reading a yawn. And then I love how as soon as that happens, he's like, okay, we can leave Killua. I've done my job. I trained hard enough to get. Now I'm a hunter. Now I'm officially a hunter. I can go home now. You want to come with me, Killua? I love that. As soon as he catches him, he's like, "I'm going home now. You want to come with me, Killua?" Cause that's all he
Like I'm
wanted. He
doing it.
just.
I did this now.
And then
No.
there's also like the other part about the stuff with Hisoka is how weird Hisoka made it. Was that Hisoka, as soon as he got his card, his hunter license, he was just like, the most likely place for Gon to go is Heaven's Arena, and so he just goes to Heaven's Arena and just chills for what's it called? What's that? A month?
A month.
At least a
A
month?
month, pretty much.
Yeah, because
More than a month. Yeah.
It's 2 months between Gon breaking his arm because he was told he can only use what's it called? He can't use Ninjagen, and then what's it called? It takes a month for his broken arm to heal, which is also crazy. The doctor was just like, "You're gonna be out for 4 months," and Gon just heals in a month, and he's doing like stand-up push-ups in his room and stuff on one arm while he's waiting for it to heal. Like Gon's just legitimately built differently, which always cracks me up. And then there's the moment with we talked about it a little bit where we see like how what's the correct way to say this? Because I don't want to say about that life Killua is, but that is what it is. It's how seriously Killua takes the safety of all of his friends and stuff. Like when they pull that crap with Zushi, with Sadashi, or however you say his name, when they kidnap Zushi, and Gon's just or not Gon, but Killua's just like, I'm gonna kill you, dog, if I ever see your face again. Or when Gon threatens the is it Gato?
About Gita.
Guido, that's it. Guido. Where he knocks him over and just breaks the steel rod that keeps him up. It's just like if I ever see you if I, or you ever threaten my friends again, you getting destroyed. Like I'm beating that wholesale ass. It's just man, I just love Heaven's Arena, dude. It's just like as an arc. It's so dope. And something's wrong with the connection. Give it just a second. It should be fixed. I don't know if it hurt
Which
the stream at all, but there was a little hiccup with the
Let me check.
connection for a second.
And
But
I still said it going.
yeah, so but it was just telling me that like a bunch of stuff like popped up on the computer telling me something like the internet slowed down. Hopefully it just means that somebody else just got on the Wi-Fi or something. And then I like when he goes to visit Mito, how that whole thing's set up. Because we see like Gon wants to meet his dad, but not more than he wants to like what's the right word? Like he doesn't want to eliminate the stuff with his aunt at the same time. Trying to think of the right way to phrase it. Like he wants to find his dad, but not at the expense of his aunt's feelings, or not really feelings,
Yeah,
cause like
wishes.
yeah, it's not really against her wishes, cause it is against her wishes to become a hunter. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like that's still against her wishes. But like he's still just like I gotta go check in to show Aunt Mito like I'm doing good and everything, like I got it. Even though he told me I probably wouldn't be able to get it just 'cause I'm 12 and my dad's like the only other 12-year-old that's ever gotten it on their first try and stuff like that. But especially like how he acts with Killua about it. It's like, and this is Aunt Mito. She's my mom. And then Mito like hears him say it, which is really good character moment that we get. Or the moment where she goes to bring him sandwiches and they're talking and he says something else along those lines. And I like when he's just like, so I'm gonna be going to find my dad when they're sitting at the fire. And he's just like, what are you gonna do, Killua? He's just like, I don't know. I don't really have a goal. I don't know what I'm gonna do. How I want things to work out. I just know I want to stop killing people. And then Gon's just like, then just come with me. It's cool having a friend my age for the first time ever. Because Gon's like the only kid on the island. I think at this point he is the only kid on that, or one of the only kids on the island. He might be the only one his age. And we get
That
all
could be
those moments,
true.
which is really dope. Where he's just like, well, just come with me. You can help me find my dad. And then we can find what you want to do while we do that. Like we can find what's out in the world that Killua wants while we're doing that. And so Killua's just like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I'm in.
Which, like, that's a legit how Killua is about it. And then,
He is. You're right. Like he has that naive like way of going about stuff. Like it's almost like if you're in, then I'm in. Because him and Gon pretty much kind of gotten into every situation that they've been in kind of together. In Heaven's Arena, both of them simultaneously decide. Well, Gon decided to go and take Killua with him back to what's his village name?
he lives on Well
It's
Island.
like a simple name. Whale Island. That's what it was. Um, Took him back to Whale Island. He took Killua with him. Took Killua to. It was Killua who helped him with the whole gizmo with his dad. He helped
Yep.
him out with that. And of course, both of them simultaneously decide. Killua decides that they need money and let's go to Heaven's Arena. Both of them decide on that. Both of them decide to learn then. Both of them kind of just went through everything together. They even lived together until they got to the 200th floor, but they was almost always together still. They had different rooms, but they was in each other's rooms. Did you get to when they finish having a no, no, when they finish all of that, then they both simultaneously go to like they almost always on the same page. You know what I'm saying? If they're not on the same page, it's almost easier to get on the same. And there was a good point too in reference to what I'm talking about because after both of them escaped the Phantom Troop hideout, it was over the fence. Gomes telling Killua, "Oh, you're finally back to your old self." He said, "I'm the one who's usually hard and getting us into trouble, and you're always cool one, calm headed that's bailing me out and keeping me calm." He told him that, and it's like, bruh, you already know what it is, because they like a duo at that point. I actually, but they Starting to become one of my favorite duos in anime, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, dude, they go
I
so
ain't
hard
even gonna lie
together.
to you.
They like shore up each other's weaknesses too. Like
Exactly.
the like it's so fitting. Also, another thing that I really like is they they have, I wouldn't say opposite personalities, but they have like personalities that like they have the personality each of them need to pick to put to get like need a piece of each other to be like the best version of themselves. Like they each have a little something that the other one needs to learn. You know what I mean? Like Gon needs to learn like the world's darker than you think it is, kid. It's not always gonna be that nice. That part like and Killua knows that probably too well. And then
I can see that.
Gon like can still see the world through like a lens that isn't tinted by like the darkness of what's going on with it. A Killua needs that part, and then like it's symbolized by, I think its own purpose with Gon having pitch black hair and Killua having white hair. Cause what's it called? Killua was the only white-haired person in his family, unless you count Zeno, but we don't know what Zeno looked like. Like if his hair was always white. Because Silva's hair is blonde, his mom's hair is blonde, his sister's hair is black, his brother's hair, both of his brother's hair is black. Do we know what young Zeno looks like?
Feel me?
No, I'm assuming that it's like a manga thing, so that's why I'm checking. Like they might have showed it off in the manga, what he looks like when he's young. I'm not too sure if they have. I've seen a bunch of people say that he was blonde when he was young, but there's not an actual confirmed what he was like what color his hair was when he was young. But I guess everyone's just basing it off the fact that Silva has blonde hair, maybe. I'm not too sure. It could have always been white. Hard to tell.
I still, you know more about me when it comes to that part.
I just don't remember it being in the anime, so that's why I was checking if it was on the manga. Like showed what he looked like young. And then but it's just like they also have the opposite aesthetics. Like Killua wears cool colors, like uh it's closer to like lavender than white shirt with a blue undershirt, like his signature look, and then like cargo pants on. While Gon wears a green and orange outfit, just like warm colors all around, and Gon has a typical warm attitude about life, and Killua doesn't.
Yeah, he's pretty cold about a lot of things.
Yeah,
Slow to bring people in. He rejects like almost every new person they meet in almost every way. Zeppa, whatever his name is, the
Zepile.
appraiser. Zepile, yeah,
Yeah,
he rejects him almost immediately. And I like that little question war they got into, and they started off rocky, kind of not answering each other's questions first. Then they almost went into a beat like, oh, question. And then you saw they was keeping up with the same thing. I thought that was great.
and then like another good example of the Killua being more like, I guess learned is the right word. Okay, I know that's a word, but it's like he's more used to the outside world where Gon has like almost no interaction with the outside world because he grew up on an island and spent all his time in the island in the woods instead of in the little town. Um, with the memory card, He's like, oh, I know exactly what that is. The PlayStation 1 memory card, dude. How the hell do you not know what that is? Like that moment that he has with
Mm-hmm.
Gon. And he's just like, let's go get the PlayStation. Or then there's also the fact that like to show how out of touch Gon is technologically is he has an old school cassette player because if I remember correctly, Killua even says something about it being an old tape. Like the technology for that tape is old, and then Gon just pulls out like an old like boombox style tape player. Like you can tell like it's been in the family for a while. Like it's probably as old as he is. But Gon just doesn't care about that stuff. But Killua knows all about it. Also like how we get the little look about like how insane Jing is. Like he looks exactly like Gon, just a little bit older. But apparently he's
Yep.
such a badass that he's sitting on top of a monster, and that other monster is riding a dragon monster, a dragon-looking
Bruh,
monster.
I dropped my jaw on that moment. Like, dude, I was like, okay, Gene, you looking cool. Okay, what are you riding, my guy? I don't know what
Yeah,
you're riding.
like
Where are you? And then it panned out, and I'm like, dude, where in the hell are you? It's like
yeah,
it just
dude.
got. It's one of those moments that it just got crazier the more you just said it. It was
Yeah,
like,
and
dude,
there's
this
like
is
a
getting crazy at
storm
this
of
point.
Nin on that mountain. So it's just like,
That's
what
what
the
that
fuck's
storm was
going on?
of.
The
I didn't know
implication
that's what
is
that
that it's
storm was
Nin.
of.
Like that's why they don't show us him until they show us Nin. That's why it looks like Nin. Like it's like red lightning instead of white lightning or blue lightning. I don't think we've actually seen lightning in the show before that. Because I don't think it stormed in the show before that we see. Oh no no no! It stormed in like the first episode. But was there lightning in the first episode? I can't remember if we saw lightning. And then I also like the little touch where he got like Gene's just like about your mother. If you want to know, keep listening. And he just goes, nope. And Killer was just like, what? Why? There might be a clue. And it's just like, don't care. Mito's my mom. And it's just like, damn, dog. Gonna go hard for no reason. And then also, Geen thought so far ahead that he made the tape full of Nin. And it made the tape player like virtually indestructible too, while it has the Nin on it to make it rewind it, which is crazy. That Nin can do that much stuff. And we got Kurapika joining the what will we call this group? Because most of them is just fodder. So what the community doesn't really have a name for them. So I'm just gonna call them fodder, mafia fodder. But Melody's not really fodder. But the other ones, 'cause I think Basho's the only one that survives, right? Basho and Melody.
For the most part, yeah.
Because
Gotta
Blaze,
dive.
the dude with the dude
The
that was
dog,
already a
gotta.
member, yeah,
Kitty,
Squala
gotta, whatever.
dies.
Qualpha, that's it.
I forgot the dude with like
The
the whose
original leader
sideburns.
died.
Yeah, the original Uvo stabs him in the or not Uvo, Finks stabs him in the back. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think Melody and Basho, because Basho's the one that took her shopping, and that's how Basho survived. Because I know Blaze and the dude that can summon the little guys, he die. They die immediately. Like they die when Franklin and Phaeton. Phaeton's so fucking cool, dude. Phaeton's crazy. Or like the part where they torture Owl and Phaeton's just like it wasn't even fun. It's just like goddamn
Because
dog.
he gave up too fast.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that was I just Phaeton's design is just sick. Like that little bandana that he wears and everything. And
Yeah, with
then
the hot collar and stuff.
yeah, you don't really get to see him fight, but he's still dope
You
design.
don't.
And then Finks, you get to see a little bit of what he's about. Like he wears like a pharaoh's head. That's about it. What's it called? Shalnark is interesting with the manipulator with the
Phone.
cell phone.
The like,
He's got those little
yeah, the cell
darts.
phone playing them like video games.
Yeah, and he like controls the person like it's a video game. And then Shizuku's is just creepy because it's like a living vacuum that likes to eat dead people. That has
What's her
like
name? The girl with the threads.
she's
Machi.
cool. Yeah, Machi. And then I also like her design is that it's supposed to look like a her her belt's supposed to look like a spider leg. I really like that design of her. Like how it does all the stuff. It's just really cool. Then I don't remember the what's it called, dude. The dude's name that can make copies of stuff. Cause they say it a couple times, but I always forget it. Cause in my head he's just a gremlin. Cause he looks like a gremlin. And then Nobunaga's pretty cool. Uvogin's funny. Uvogin gets his ass beat, dude. Like
Dude, that fight's top tier.
that
The
fight's
way
so dope.
Karapika did him. The way Karapika just did him like that. That was like, yeah, I'm messing with
It's
that.
so beyond disrespectful, dude.
It really was. I enjoyed every second of it. That man put that junk on his heart. He over that thing on. Because when he went into explaining like the full extent of his stuff, like when he had him wrapped in chains and was just punching him, he was like, "Oh, I can break. You think these chains can hold me?" He said, "Go ahead, try and break them." And then he just slowed down. He's like, "Man, what this is, man? What you doing to me, bro? What's going on?" You tell him, "Yeah, my chains, yeah, they enforce. What is it? Is it
Zetsu.
enforce the vets? Yeah, that makes them to where all nin kind of shuts off, so you can't use aura. It enforces that." So it basically like shuts down your whole power. The boy said, "Man, this man thought of everything." Yep,
He
definitely
sure
did.
did. He was making sure, and I love how he specifically targets Uvo too. Like he explains, like you're the one I wanted,
Yep.
cause if you
Watching
can't
them,
break the chains,
watching them.
none of them can.
He went like all in detail about it, like saying how, yeah, you fight, they watch the while you fight, the rest of the team sat idly and watch. You like to work alone, and they trust you enough to not get in your way. And to test what he wanted to do, he needed somebody who wanted to work alone because he didn't want to do everybody else. Then plus seeing how strong he was and seeing that they pretty much trust him to sit back. If it worked on you, it'll work on all of them. And boy, was he right.
Yeah, he was just like, we're gonna see if these chains are strong enough to just hold the physically strong. And then Uvo like gets to the point where he's just like, even if I didn't have the poison in me, I wouldn't be able to break out. And then we learn later when he gets captured that was true.
Hmm.
Like he had no chance whatsoever. Just really dope.
Yep. He literally says, even if I wasn't poisoned, I still wouldn't be able to break out.
And
Like,
then we
man,
also get to see like how smart Crollo is. Like he thinks like so many steps ahead too, which is another cool thing. Like we see like a little bit of Crollo's power when he fights Silva and Zeno and doesn't immediately die. But we get to see like when we see how smart he is, like it puts him on another level. We're just like, nah, dude, there's no way that there's a traitor among us. With that, there just has to be someone that can tell the future because of all these little things lining up. Like that's how they knew to move everything. It's not because of what you said. It's because of these interactions, like those little moments that just shows off how smart he is and how he figures out everything about Kurapika as soon as Kurapika kidnaps him. He's just like, oh no, you care about your friends turning out okay more than you care about killing me. So as soon as Pakunoda realizes that, like, his friends are dead and we're done and we don't have to worry about anything. But there is the aspect that Crollo really didn't understand was how important he is to his friends. But I
His
wouldn't even really
comrades,
call
yeah.
him friends with him because they like revere him, not really like how it is with friends. You know what I mean? But like he sees him
See
as
what you
something
mean.
like above it, and that most of them, like Finks and Phaeton, are just like we can let him die. That's exactly what the boss would want. But the other ones, they still need him in their lives. So it's just really interesting interaction between all the guys, like how they talk to each other. Also, I completely forgot about the most gangster part of the Uvo fight, in my opinion, is when he gets shot in the head with a sniper rifle and he throws a rock through the scope.
Dude, you saw how far it was?
Yeah, dude, he threw that shit
Of course you
so
had
fucking
like
far.
that jump was far.
Yeah, that
That
shit
jump
is
was
so wild.
far.
And also, like, this is like the super like watered down version of whatever. In the original, like it was showing him like ripping people's heads off and stuff. Like the one that was animated in '99, which is crazy. Like also like how the story is darker than other stuff.
Yeah.
Like like if you compare it to like One Piece or what's
JJK.
yeah,
And it's
JJK
pretty
is
dark
not.
like JJK, but
I don't think JJK gets anywhere near as dark as like the York New stuff, because like the
like
entire reason that the
you know what's in store.
well, also I'm just saying
You
like
know
just
what's in
going
store.
by York New stuff, like what happens in York New,
That's
they
true too.
like he bit a dude's
Yeah,
face off,
yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah,
shows it. It shows
yeah,
Uvo rip
yeah.
Leech's face off and eat it.
Like literally bite a whole chunk out of it. Yeah. Then
Yeah,
take a skull and cough it up and knock somebody else's head off.
yeah,
And it,
to punch a hole
yeah,
through somebody else's face,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
shows it.
What would I compare to that? Like even in JJ comparable to that. Like
Yeah, there's not a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, the part
yeah.
where he
Like
bites the dude's face off is
maybe,
crazy.
maybe. Uh,
Like I can't really think of like a
maybe how they
non.
did YouTube, how what dude guy did the home dude guy did Bet Ito, whatever the dude name was,
Yeah,
Jeto. Well, you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
The
The guy that
the dude from
almost
the
joins the
school.
school, the one that
Yeah, the guy that almost went to school.
yeah, that Yuji is trying to get to join what's it called? Because he can see cursed spirits and stuff. That they
Yeah.
low key imply the entire opening sequence that he's gonna join the school just to stab you in the back. That dude.
Mm.
That's still like one of the dirtiest things an anime company's ever done, in my opinion. Just like, check out this cool
Mm,
character, guys. He's
I
very
put
interesting.
Yamato shit above it a little bit, just a little bit. It made
Yamato,
sense in the end, but it still kind of hurt
which,
from One Piece how we was led
okay,
the whole
never heard of
time to think
Yamato.
Yamato was gonna join the crew, and then she like doesn't.
Well, no, like my big thing is like that's in the story, but in the like JJK manga, like he was never gonna join. It was just they just put it in the thing to fuck with us, like in the opening to fuck with us.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
shit was that. Like I'm still mad about that sometimes.
No, I understand.
Like man, but like back to the spider stuff, and then when you see the spiders, they instantly kill the rest of the beasts, like immediately,
Hmm.
which is crazy. Like just to show how OP they are, cause they just immediately because these guys are supposed to be super OP. The beasts, the dark beasts, supposed to be insanely OP. The people that are called down by the Ten Dawn
The Shadow
specifically to fight
Beast,
people.
yeah, the Tendons, yeah.
Yeah, supposed to be like the greatest thing that the Mafia has access to. And four of them just instantly kill five of them. Four of the troop just instantly kill five of them.
They just die.
Like,
They just instantly die.
like
I literally
go do
said it
something.
too. I called it like soon as I seen them come up behind Karapika and them talking about, oh yeah, yeah, I see y'all ain't gonna fight. I'm like, y'all finna die. Y'all just boosted yourself up a little too much. Y'all finna die. And then, bro, little swim. First dude walk up there to get rocked. We're talking all that mess. First dude walk up
Yeah,
there to
the
get rocked.
worm
I'm like,
dude
okay,
just to
yeah.
get evaporated. I think that's the right word. Evaporated, because he just well, what's it called? I think Worm actually survives the fight and just runs away, if I remember correctly.
He does. He's the last one to
Like
die.
he rips his arm off to get away. And then I like all the interactions with Hisoka and Kurapika, which is like how they're talking. It's just like, look, I'm not gonna kill you because you have too much potential, man. But this is what you need to know. This is how it works. Okay? Just chill, dog. Just just chill. Well, you're gonna hopefully get your revenge. Just chill a little bit so I can fight the boss. Okay? Thank you. Which is hilarious. How he does it. He's just like, slowly roll, kid. As long as you don't fuck with a boss, you're good. Or how he messes with the entirety of the troop by changing his fortune completely with texture surprise, because they spend an entire like quarter of an episode explaining to us how texture surprise and bungee gum work, how he uses them together
Hmm.
to uh to
Pretty
confuse
much cover
people.
up his skin and
Yep,
like use it to elastify stuff and stick it to other stuff and how you can pull it back, make it contract, stuff like that.
which is really cool. And then the whole Gon just beating the crap out of everyone at arm wrestling was hilarious.
Everyone. To the
Even
point nobody
Shizuka.
wanted to even come up to fight no more.
Then we learn about conditional auctioning, which is just where people get taken advantage of. I can't say it any better than that. It's just an excuse to make a ton of money off people. Like you have to pay 5 million to have the chance to win a reward for fighting people or capturing people like that. That just cracks me up how much like how down bad they are for money in the world.
They are pretty damn bad.
And then I like after the fight where Kurapika's fight when he finally meets back up with the boys for the first time in like I think it's been like 6 months. I believe is the timeline is 6 months, and we get the whole Gon's just like, nah, dude, we your friends, we got your back, chill. Like we're not gonna let you lose your soul, cause that's basically what the implication is. Like Gon doesn't say it expressly, but he's basically just like, dude, I'm not gonna let you sacrifice your soul to kill all these people. Like
I
I
see
know
that.
that like that's might be what you want right now, but I don't think you want to do it. And we can tell that you like how much of a toll is taken on you doing this, because you can see like in his face and everything, it puts like a massive toll on Kurapika. Killing Uvo like seriously messed up his head.
Yep, you ain't lying.
Like
definitely in line.
seriously.
He went from like having like really questioning what all he was doing after killing Ugo,
Or
like
like the
having some
part,
serious doubts about a lot of stuff. He still was convicted to do what he wanted to do, but it was almost like he was shaking in the path he chosen.
and then the moment where he thinks they're all dead, where they fake their deaths, and
Yeah,
he
and how he came back out of that.
yeah, he walks with the eyes, and he's like completely lost, and he doesn't know what he wants to do anymore, and he feels broken inside. That part hits hard, dude. Especially how he talks about it. He's just like, I have no clue what I'm gonna do because it feels so bad being so alone now that it looks like my entire purpose for existing is gone. Like, god damn, bro.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Like that hit. And then when he threatens the mafioso dude that hates light, Nostrad, he's like, touch me. Or what's it called? The in Japanese, I think it's if you come after me or the family again, I'll destroy you or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording of it. I know in the original he just tells the dude he's gonna kill him over it, which is crazy. Cause he's literally holding a piece of his not necessarily, it might not be a family member's eyeballs, but it's somebody from his town that he grew up in. Like it, and like with a clan, typically in somewhere you're related to somebody if you live close together. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
just odds are that is like his cousin, like his second or third cousin's eyeballs. But of course he doesn't know those eyeballs are fake. But like the whole thing I just think is awesome. Like everything that they do with the Phantom Troop stuff with Kurapika, or like the little things that feel like they're not gonna be related. Like when they meet Zepile and Zepile is explaining like ostomy, cauterization, all that stuff, and it turns up to mattering like an episode later, even though you think it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, how they find him and escape.
Yeah, how they escape Nobunaga is just like, well, I just remembered Killua. It's cauterization, something else, and ostomy. And it's funny in the Japanese version, there's no way that Nobunaga doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about because the Japanese word for that, instead of being ostomy, it's sidestepping, which just cracks me up. So that means in the Japanese version, they're just saying sidestepping, and that's exactly what they do is they just kick holes in the side of the walls to escape. Also, like how he baits Nobunaga, the way he's just like, "Hey, you gonna fight me?" So Nobunaga has to slow down and activate his in while they just run away,
Hmm,
which
hmm,
cracks me
hmm,
up.
hmm, hmm.
Like all this little stuff that feels like it's not gonna matter just ends up mattering a few,
To a deeper level.
yeah, few minutes later. And it's like that the entire time the show goes, which is awesome. Like the entire time the show, like there's little moments like that. Also, like I hate that they keep showing like spiders on screen because I hate spiders. But the metaphor with the Phantom Troops, how it shows spiders like on their webs and stuff, and you see the reason that they have that metaphor is because a couple of seconds later the spiders turn around and catch them. Like it,
Yeah, I see
like that
exactly
little,
what you mean.
yeah, like the little. It's supposed to be them hunting them, but it turns out the entire time they were playing Gon and Killua. And so they were Gon and Killua were actually just walking into the spiders' webs because the spiders never go
Yeah,
anywhere alone. Just moments like that, I think, were awesome.
that makes sense. Yeah, I get you.
And when also the implication. when Krollo steals with Krollo stealing her power, also Neon's power, the implication of her dad caring less about her now that her powers are gone is cool. Or like the implication of now that her power is gone, like the implication we learn because once Krollo does it, he's not copying people's stuff. He takes away their ability to do it, so now he's the one that does it.
So it does work like that. I was wondering that because
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
feel
what.
like I had missed that.
Yeah, they say.
I
I
feel
think
like
it's
I did.
Sphinx points out that his technique isn't to copy; it's to steal. That's why it's called the Bandit's Handbook. His technique is called the Bandit's Handbook
I
because he
remember
just
now.
steals stuff.
Bandit Handbook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay. I'm with you now. I remember that whole thing.
Hunter's tool or Hunter's technique, Bandit's Handbook. So yeah, he just
Hunter's tool,
steals
Hunter's
it.
technique.
Yeah, so remember if you remember how Nen works is that you can copy somebody else's technique, but if it's a different school than you are, that it probably won't be nearly as good as their version of it. So like if a transmuter tried to use Uvagin's big impact, it wouldn't be that good. You need to be an enhancer to do it well. It's not like how it's not like Nin itself isn't like how there's like Geki Genkais in Naruto with certain stuff, except for specialists. Because specialists are just uncategorizable Nin users. So like what's his name? Krollo, he can use people's stuff that he stole like he was the person that he stole them from, if that makes sense. Like, if they were an
Yeah, it makes
enhancer
perfect
and he
sense.
stole it, he can use it at 100%, or it's implied to be at 100%, but it still has all the same rules and conditions as the person that he stole it from. Like we see with the floating fish, the condition is that they have to be in an enclosed space. So as soon as he opens the window, the fish disappear. But we also saw that the fish seemed to be pretty OP because they ate somebody that was implied to be
And he was
powerful.
still alive, dude.
Yeah,
That
he
was
can't
freaking
die.
crazy. He ate him
Yeah,
and he was still alive.
yeah, they ate him and he got stabbed in the head. That's why his head was floating. Is because he had a pin stabbed all the way through his head, like through the like that's a long ass pin. Is like stuck in the wall through his forehead, and like once the body disappeared, the pin was still stuck in the wall.
Yep.
That's a big ass pin, dude. Cause like compared to my head, like I got a pin on my desk. Yeah, it need to be like twice as long as a normal pin for that to work, which is crazy. Like all that stuff, just man, I can't wait till next arc, bro. Till Bisky shows up, man. Like something tells me you're gonna really like next arc. But I will warn you now, people consider Greed Island to be the worst arc, but I'm convinced that's only because the best arc starts like right like cuz you know how most anime has like the downtime episode between arcs,
Yeah.
like Naruto healing in the doctor's office, or Goku healing and going to visit like King Kai, or like a good example would be like when Garp shows up at the end of Water 7 to lead into Sabaody, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that, like a hard break. But in this show, they like go into the arc, like straight, like there's no in between thing that like spurs them into it. It's just they go Hunter exam straight into Heaven's Arena. Heaven's Arena is part of York New. Like there's no little like that one episode break, give or take. You know, like or like how York New leads right into Greed Island because you remember the last episode. It says like that next episode starts the Greed Island arc because they're just trying to see how the auction goes at the end of the last episode we watched this week. And then the previous one was it went that episode ended with them walking into Heaven's Gate or not Heaven but Heaven's Arena. like stuff like that, which is something I really like because it just makes the pace. I don't want to say the pace is perfect for Hunter x Hunter because I don't know if something can have a perfect pace, but it's damn near close. Like I can't think of something that I like the pacing of more than Hunter x Hunter. Like, because there's like never a dull moment, I guess is the correct way for me to
Age
put
is
it.
not a factor for me. I just enjoy the ride as it goes.
Like, I don't want to say pace isn't a factor for me because when something has bad pacing, it makes me dislike it a lot. Not because of the pacing itself, though. Like, there's some stuff with bad pacing that I still like, but it definitely doesn't help stuff when it has bad pacing. But into the like last bit of the stuff to talk about this week, it'd probably be the last few minutes or the last two episodes where we see the whole brilliant execution of Kurapika's plan that took like 30 seconds to come up with.
Right,
That plan was
right.
crazy in depth, and he barely had any time to come up with it, dude.
It was like on a pretty much a moment's notice.
Yeah, as soon as he finds out that they're still alive, and he just figures out a plan that works perfectly too.
You
Like
already,
it
I
works
mean, at that point too,
absolutely
you think about
perfectly.
it. On that point too, you think about it in Kurapika's part. Because I thought about this. You think about where you at, like, like you already got these dudes on their heels. You as the person killed one of their guys. Because rightfully they went on a whole war to find him, and they did a lot, but they still kind of end up coming to a standstill, sort of, kind of, almost, because they had to fake their deaths in order to get out of it. That's pretty much like the guarantee of like accepting defeat, just live to another day to do stuff. And in all honesty, I always say if they never would have dabbled, they actually left and not went going forward. But of course, of Nobunaga's ass, Nobunaga wanted everybody to keep going, try to over Overgen, which I mean it makes sense because he was the one who was closest to him. But at the same time, you could have did that another day. Y'all could have came back and like did some heists, got y'all back up, got another member, got your numbers back up. But nah, to get to back to Kurapika, like you had them on their heels without you fake their deaths to go. You find out that was a lie. What else do you do? Like the moment's notice and just in a second find out they're alive and to go. But bro, it was just like he did the right thing. Is what you never let them really get their heels under them to really come back and really do something crazy. You just go.
Yeah, and
But
the
it
whole
was
thing,
perfect.
he has them pretend to get caught by him. You know where like he's just like walk up to him, pretend that they caught you, pretend that you're still after the reward and you don't know anything about it disappearing and all that stuff. It's kind of
Which is
dope.
fact.
And then
That's
they
fact.
take him to the hotel, and you just see Leorio just like pull a absolutely gangster move where he's just like, nah, bro, this is where you. We meet in S7, like
Catch me
into the thing
outside.
to do the whole what's it called to fake him out so he can steal Crollo, and then you see we get the whole interaction with what's his name Nobunaga, Shizuku, and everybody in Pakunoda, where it's just like, don't say nothing or we'll kill you, or we'll kill your boss. And then we get the whole thing where Kurapika's just like screaming to himself, like, please, please make this work. Please let me trade for them. And Crollo figured it out, like, as soon as he was in his vicinity, that that's the entire thing. Is that he just wants his friends to survive. But Crollo figured it out immediately, but nobody else did. And we get the whole thing with Meteor City being where they're from, and so they don't accidentally destroy the Mafia's thing with Meteor City. They stop going after the rest of them. because the mafia wants to keep recruiting and running the gun and drug trade out from there. And then we got the where Kurapika trusts them enough to tell them how it works. And I like how Killua gets mad about it, which is a nice little touch. Because he's just like, now if we ever
Of
get
course.
caught. And he ends up coming up because Pakinoda, like, doesn't realize it at the time, but she could have ended everything immediately if she would have said, like, sure, the boss would have died, but Kurapika's super easy to counter if you're not a spider.
Right.
Like, you can just immediately counter Kurapika if you're not a spider.
But he
Like,
can
they could
do
just
his,
hire people.
but his prowess with his abilities once he figured out how he can go into red and stuff is just he can do a lot though, I would imagine, though, right? Like he ain't just stop. He can do his ultimate pretty much like that if you're a spider. But the other
Well,
stuff, like I say, he can still do the judgment heart and stuff like that, but the judgment chain and stuff like that, he just can't do the chain jail.
so we don't know how much of this stuff, like, we don't know if another thing to use, the, like, he doesn't explain it enough. If, like, the implication, because he's just like, yeah, I could put an end dagger in y'all, but it wouldn't really help you. Um, we don't know if he can use the other fingers unless he's in a fight with the spider. Because he can probably only use the thumb heal in a when his eyes are scarlet also, because healing is an enhancer thing. So he can probably only use his thumb in scarlet eyes, and they haven't shown yet in the at this point. We don't know what the other two fingers chains do, so I don't know how much he can do when he's not fighting a spider, if that makes sense. Because let's say like the spiders hire Illumi because Crollo can hire Illumi because Crollo has hired Illumi. Killua probably would have no respite for that. Like he might be able to like hold out for a few seconds, but I don't see him winning the fight because a lot of the stuff comes down to if he can get the drop on him, which is interesting because he uses the chains almost like an assassin does. Like he gets the drop on one of them, separates them, and then does what he needs to do to that one. Like he gets Uvo when nobody's paying attention. He gets Crollo when it goes dark, and that's the only ones he grabs. But he also has an insta kill button against all of them, which he we don't know if he has against everybody else, and we also don't know if he can just insta kill anybody he wants with it. Also, like they don't say if he has to give a condition. So let's say like Illumi jumps him. At this point of the story, we don't know if Illumi jumped him, if he could use Arbiter on him and just instantly kill him, or would he have to put like a thing on him for him not to kill him? And in that moment, he could just get hit by the pins, and then it's all over. Like his the little tack things Illumi uses to use his manipulator abilities.
Yeah,
So it's one of those things you don't know for sure with that stuff. But the implication is that he's at a severe disadvantage if he's not fighting a spider. But if
very
he's fighting a
severe
spider, he
disadvantage,
just
but
like dismantles them.
you want to shout out to me, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. Or at least that's the implication that we're given.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not a bad pack. I mean, the whole point he wanted to be a hunter was to take them dudes out.
Yeah,
So
like his whole thing is he wants to kill him, but I like how he learns that he doesn't want to kill him after he kills the first one. He would rather, instead of do that, instead of doing that one, he would rather, what's the word? He would rather take away from them what they took away from him, which is their place to call home, or their ability to call somewhere home. So instead of killing him, he chooses to take the leader's power away once he realizes how important the leader is to them, which I think is a pretty good moment because it's like he doesn't know if this will for sure destroy the spider, but he's hoping that if he crushes the head of the spider, that the spider deteriorates, and you kind of see that happen in these episodes. Like you don't see the spiders immediately fall apart, but you see like they break up. Like they go like, okay, two of us are going here. Phaeton and Feeks go to the auction. We see in episode 58 that they're just at the auction, seeing what's happening at the auction, and they say that the rest of them went their own way. Like some of them went home to Meteor City, some of them went other places, and then Crollo just went east, and then Pakanota's dead, and Ufo's dead. So we don't know where the rest of them are going for the most part. Well, at this moment, we don't know where most of them are. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about with these episodes. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with these episodes?
Just continuing to look through this lens of the war of losing innocence and gaining and just the dynamic of Tulu and Gone, man. I'm really enjoying the show, man. Like I didn't think I would really at this point in my anime understanding, but it's like such a nostalgic feel, and the story is amazing, and it might be like a lot of the stuff that's going on that I'm enjoying because Hisoka's weirdness is what threw me off in the story original, but it's not even really that bad once you really look at the gravity of what's actually happened. But nah, man, Gone and Killua now they got the team together with Karapika and Leorio, man. I think it's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it. I do. The only one thing I do see is I wish they would develop. Like I want to see some more. Like I like him coming back and how he's done and what they've done. They've kept him out a lot, and I do want to see some more of him.
Who, Leorio?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
makes
he
sense
might
for
cut
his
out a split second
character.
for the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because his whole thing
Leorio,
is
I
he
do
just
want to
wants to
see.
go to medical school.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But I've been enjoying seeing him come back in the last couple episodes, and I think he's played a major part. And he fits right in. And I know having if you the thing that I like too, they kind of was pushing themselves kind of together again because after the September 1st, and then like you saw Leorio come in the picture, but not Karapika, and then they went to get Karapika, but left Leorio behind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just seeing more Leorio, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. That was it. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody stopping in. Come look at us as always. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Make
Yeah,
sure y'all, comment down, see what we're doing. Still give us feedback, how y'all liking it, what's going on.
yeah.
Discord in the
Thank
description.
you. Um, Next week we'll have Greed Island, and then after that Chimera Ant, and I'm hyped as fuck for that, just cause might be my favorite anime arc. Period. Like it's either
Nothing
that
wrong with that.
or like Namek Saga. Like those are probably my two favorite, and I'd probably put Chimera Ant arc on top. So yeah, hope y'all stop by for the rest of the Hunter x Hunter stuff. And thanks again. It's Corrupted
Yeah, and it's the dragon.
signing off. Deuces, everybody.
Who